It's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and we're going to do yet another advanced bracketing video. Again, another great question that came from one of my doctors this week, and I realized I didn't have any content around it. So what is bypass bracketing and how do you use it on severe crowding cases? Now, I don't know if you watched my last video about decorative bracketing. These are words that I kind of made up. I'm sure other offices are doing the same. Biomechanics are just probably calling it something else. So feel free to put in the comments section if you're familiar with doing this in your office, or, if you are a doctor or a team member, on what you guys call it. But bypass bracketing is something that I recommend all the time because you can't always engage every single tooth, either because you're going to throw the roots through the bone, or there's just no place to put it. Everybody wants to I can get the wire in. Well, just because you got the wire in doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. So for example, down here, you can see they bypassed. They didn't even put the bracket on this tooth, the lower right one, tooth number 20, why am I blanking out? 5, because couldn't put it on. It was completely blocked out. It wouldn't have gone on correctly. And my theory is always, unless I can put it on perfectly, I'm not putting it on, because I'm going to forget to reposition it later, and that's just more work for me. And if I can't put it on perfectly, it's probably not going to move anyway. So what's the point, right? It's just wasting a bracket, wasting time, giving the patient hopes that something's going to move when it's not yet. I will move it later when I have space. So that's bypass bracketing. We're bypassing this. You can see, for example, what happened here. They put that bracket on. It's not going to move. It's locked out behind this tooth. So it broke. And that's what happens. Even if you put in a 12 night tie, it often can break, or it's just not going to move. So that is bypass bracketing. Please practice bypass bracketing. It's a great idea. You just have to let your patients know when you're bracketing, hey, there's a lot of crowding down here. I'm not going to be able to put braces on all the teeth yet. When I have more space, and you have to think about, how are you going to make space? I mean, how are you making space? Anytime you have that much crowding, you need to have a plan. What are the options? IPR, not my favorite if it's a kid. Sequential distalization, good luck doing that in braces. That's a nightmare. Easier in Invisalign. Expansion. You can do expansion with wires, takes forever. Easier to do expanders if the patient is still growing or kind of in the pubertal range. You can make transverse expansion that way, yeah. Proclination, sure, we can do that, but you need to take a snap first and make sure you're not going to push the teeth through the bone. And now Invisalign, actually, I know we're talking about braces, but they have that functionality where you can upload your CBCT into the Clincheck. It's a game changer, and Spark does too. I don't know who else does, but it's pretty darn cool as a teaching tool to know if you've got the bone in order to support that. So definitely, I mean, if you have or extractions, lower incisor extraction, premolar extractions, not my favorite thing at all, but still an option. So bypass bracketing. Now you guys know. All right. Thank you.